Welcome back into the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night, on a cold Wednesday night. I'm tired of saying it's a cold Wednesday night or Tuesday night or whatever. I'm ready for warm weather, but it's basketball season, so we can still deal with a little bit of cold. We're going to jump into the Pirate Fan Zone with Will Flemons, whose team lost a tough one, but as I watched that as I was getting ready to cover Friendship last night, the thought that kept crossing my mind is your guys are going to be very playoff ready because that game itself, let alone the several weeks leading up to it, yes, that was a playoff game. Yes. I noticed the atmosphere, there was some of that, but the way you coached, I've seen you enough, the way you coached, that was a playoff game.
Well, we're trying to get them ready. We're getting an opportunity. We're very blessed that we get a chance to play another game, and so we need to take advantage of our opportunities, and we're trying to put them in that mode because now it's one and done.
Those situations that you guys encountered last night are the kind of stuff you're going to see in the playoffs. Pierce Miller hit the three?
Yes, sir. No. It was Cade Gant.
Cade Gant. Okay, I knew I was watching on my little iPad, so forgive my old eyes. That's it'll give him confidence.
Absolutely.
But it's also going to give your other guys confidence that, hey, we've got a guy who can hit a shot. We've got other guys. Coach is telling us to do this in this situation. He knows what he's talking about.
And that was the best part about that. I was so glad they hit the shot. I was so glad they followed through with the plan because that's going to be crucial. I think it's you let them play, but when you get down to that last quarter, you must execute. If you don't execute, the team that executed has the best discipline wins the game.
And you played defense at the end. And I know the PD coach, he was animated. There were you played defense in the paint late in the game. And again, if you're talking about winning and playoffs, that's the kind of stuff you've got to do.
You have to. One of the big keys for us is we have to win the battle on the boards. We have to establish ourselves on the inside. We've been so guard heavy here late. Bodie was out of the game because he hurt his calf and Achilles, so we were down 12 points. And so we had some guys step up. We're very proud of them. We just got to continue to grow and get ready for next Tuesday.
I feel like you're breaking news. Is he healthy for next week?
He should be. Okay. I went into the training room with him today, and I said, "How do you feel?" I'm like, a young guy like that. I don't know. I think I'm okay. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back for Tuesday. I don't think he'll stay out 2 games.
You've told him go home after school, lift your leg up,
yes, sir,
and do nothing.
Do nothing. Stay off of it.
And that's hard for old dudes like us, but it's young people want to go out and do stuff. I mentioned Tuesday night, Pirates are in the 5A Division II bracket. They play Abilene Wiley 6:30 p.m. next Tuesday at Snyder High School. I mentioned this to you before we started and mentioned to Paul Page as he was walking out. As much as you guys would have loved to have gotten that win last night and gotten a coin flip or whatever, the silver lining in this is that you're playing an Abilene Wiley team that you may have to scout a little bit for, but you've seen them how many years in a row? Twice.
I mean, it has been Ruffin does a great job at Abilene Wiley, and we've talked on the phone. We've played in this year in scrimmages, so very familiar with them. They're very familiar with us. We know that they're going to play with high energy. They're going to be prepared. He does a tremendous job. We have to be ready for zones and presses. I think last night prepared us for any kind of press we'll see in the future. But we have to be ready for a zone because most of our teams in our league is that aggressive man-to-man. So it's going to be a little different, but we have to make an adjustment.
All right. So the bad news is that you lost 2 in a row at the end.
Yes.
The good news is you put a lot of hay in the barn before then.
Yes.
To kind of take care of that. The win against Monterey was huge.
It was huge. It was absolutely huge. Again, we got some great coaches in our league. Josh does a tremendous job. Monterey kids just play so hard. I mean, they play from the start to the end. We were very fortunate. We got some baskets when we needed it. We established it was on the defensive end that helped us win that game.
Who is key in that defense? You can single somebody out, or if you can just say it's a concept or whatever, but you have a lot of guys that have kicked in on that side a little bit.
Well, it's the biggest deal for us is if we can contain, we can rebound. And in that game, I thought we did a pretty good job on their guards. Smothers, number 24 for Monterey, is sensational. I mean, I was so impressed with him. And, number 2 for them, another shooter.
Sam Arrington.
And I've known the Arringtons forever.
Yep.
And he put up big numbers. And then they had, number 20, the athlete.
Isaiah
Young. At one point, I'm like, okay, we may need to put 2 guys to block him out. but it came down that we buckled down, we contained. Obi's been our go-to defensive guy, but all the guys stepped up and played some defense. Jaden Bush stayed down, played some defense. He used his athleticism, and so, we were very fortunate.
Just to cheer you up, Sam Arrington and Elijah Smothers are back next year, so you get to be with them again. We'll come back after this break and talk more Pirate basketball on the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta with Will Flemons, and we'll be back.
Bringing you the latest news from Lubbock Cooper Athletics. This is the Pirate Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm going to run through a couple of playoff pairings here real quick while I've got them up in front of me. Girls are in the area around UIL. Friendship plays Mansfield Legacy 6:30 p.m. Thursday at Abilene High. Monterey against El Paso Burgess 6 p.m. Friday in Fort Stockton. Estacado girls got a huge win in the by-district round. They take on Burke Burnett at 8 p.m. Thursday at Childress High School. That's your neck of the woods, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's it for the UIL girls. And then boys, I think I've got most of them here. Lubbock Cooper Pirates, as I mentioned, take on Abilene Wiley 6:30 Tuesday in Snyder. Friendship is going to play either El Paso Montwood or El Paso Coronado 2 p.m. Tuesday in Fort Stockton. Estacado is taking on Graham 7 p.m. Monday at ACU. Liberty plays its first ever playoff game against Glen Rose 7:30 p.m. Monday in Stamford. Fort Stockton trip is one you'd like to be talking about here pretty soon, because I assume that's
nice.
That would be next.
Yes.
And there's probably some motivation, because that's where you guys played last season. So
yes, sir.
It's a long trip, but I told Paul Page I'm never going to complain about driving to Fort Stockton, because I went with Lubbock Cooper football to El Paso, and I didn't think El Paso was ever going to get there. It just keeps going and keeps going. So you guys have played, even with the 2 losses, and you mentioned between segments here, you lost to Amarillo High. So did everybody else.
They're pretty
16-0 is hard to do in a boys basketball district.
Absolutely.
And that's, to me, you chalk that one up and say we played a really good team. We got beat by a really good team. But you guys have been a really good team the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And I've talked to your guys about this. I don't know that I ever specifically asked you what kind of clicked, what began getting better for you guys.
Well, it's one of the things we try to do is here lately, we started to start faster. We start faster, have a little bit more confidence. We play a little looser, and we play better defensively. And so it's all about how we get a good start. And so those last 4 or 5 games leading into the last, we got off to great starts, and it propelled us through. When you can go out and you can hit a bucket and you kind of get fired up, and then you can make a stop, it becomes contagious, and that's what we need. We got to have that when we play Tuesday. We have to have that, and that's the biggest turnaround for us. It's confidence. It's all a mental thing right now, because we go through routines all the time.
You mentioned Bodie, who we're knocking on fake wood here. That's somebody who a couple of your guys mentioned right away, that his emergence late in the season, which I'm thinking, I bet Will Flemons' heart's going to warm up when he hears that, to hear them talking about how going inside, feeding the big guys changed things for us.
It's really good, though. I have an assistant coach on my side, Corey Lynch, that does a lot of our post stuff. I'll go down and I'll put in a little bit here and a little bit there, but he does a lot of things that I love. Shows them how to face up in the short corner, rip and go, a shoulder fake, a jump hook. So he does a lot of those fundamentals, and we're down there, and I may go get the pad and beat on him a little bit, just so just got to get tough. But I have a really good staff that does that, and Corey Lynch is one of those that works with the post, and James works with the guards. We kind of mesh them in. So we need to get him the ball early.
Corey's been a head coach, correct?
Yes.
Panhandle?
Yes, sir.
And was James a head coach?
Yes, sir. He's been a head coach at Abilene Cooper. He was head coach at one of the Tyler schools. So every one of my staff, and I'm so fortunate, has had head coaching experience.
And watching James coach, He's James Dickey 2.0. Just it's uncanny watching him, his mannerisms.
Absolutely.
Probably a little less animated. and haven't watched many of your practices. He probably keeps a little. Well, I'm not going to guess on that. I got to watch a few of James' practices, and you look on TV, and there's the guy that looks like the Baptist preacher, and all of a sudden he's not the Baptist preacher in practice anymore. I'm going to guess you probably heard a few of those.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not many.
Very fired up.
I'm going to make you blush again. If you're not familiar with Will Flemons, I'm sitting next to one of the best players that's ever worn this Texas Tech logo on his chest in basketball. So he's been a very good coach at Lubbock Cooper. 6 years, 6 playoff spots.
Yes, sir. Very fortunate.
Got to the second round last year.
Yes, sir.
Now the focus is to
go
get over that hurdle.
Absolutely. That was our goal from day one. We're starting to make some strides. We need to keep that going, keep the momentum going. What I'm telling our seniors, this is your legacy. This is what you want to be remembered by. What did you do for this program? What did you do for us? And they're doing it. I'm putting it on their shoulders, so they got to carry us.
So if I invite you back in 2 weeks, why are we still talking about you guys in the playoffs? What's gonna go well?
Well, I think possessions is going to be key.
I'll invite you back anyway.
Hope so. But possession and win the boards on the battle boards. You can do those two things. You can have an opportunity to win in any game.
And not to pick this scab too much, you guys lost a heartbreaker in the second round last year. To me, that's always something guys can learn from.
Yes.
Use.
Absolutely. You talk about the motivation for this whole year. We talked about it every time. Like we start having a low, we go back and say, okay, you remember that feeling? Okay, what do we do to get over that feeling? How do you get past it? And so, basically what you got to do is go back to basics and then go back to what made it fun for you. If you don't have passion, have fun for what you're doing, why do it? And so we try to hit on that especially. And now this is the time we will bring this back up to kind of relight that fire a little bit and say, okay, this is not our goal. Our goal is 3 or 4 trips down. So that's what we're trying to motivate our guys to do.
And your guys have really, what's been fun watching you, how they've grown up. Because at the start of the season, every team, every high school kid's a little bit, they're just out here. And you've been really good every year at kind of bringing them in, trimming the fat, kind of getting them to play better as the year goes on. And to me, this team, even though you lost those last 2, this team is playing as well at the end of the season as any of your 6 teams that I've covered.
They're playing hard, and that's the key. I tell them all the time, I've never seen a perfect basketball game played. As long as I live, and I've been on this earth for 55 years, as long as you play hard, you'll have a chance. Play hard and stay together, and that's what we've been doing the last 6 or 7 games. We're playing hard. We're building off each other, and that's what you ask for, especially in any kind of sports. Teamwork, play hard, get it done.
Get a video of Villanova Georgetown in 1985. That may be the one perfect game that was ever played by one team, not by both teams. That's going to wrap us up on the Pirate Fan Zone for this week. Will, good luck in the playoffs at 6:30 Tuesday, Snyder High School against Abilene Wiley. We're going to come back after the break and welcome in Hannah Limmer, the Liberty softball coach, as they get. I think they've started their season. As they jump in, we'll be back at the Patriot Fan Zone after this break. I'm Randy Rosetta. This is 100.7 The Score.